We are on Matthew chapter 22 today. It's Friday, May 6th. Again, if you haven't read chapter 22 of Matthew, please hit pause, read it, and then come back. And remember, Jesus is continuing to interact with the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the religious leaders in the temple as he's cleared the temple. And we had a couple parables that dealt with the importance of bearing fruit, and then kicks off this chapter with the parable of the wedding feast, and that the king has prepared a wedding feast for his son. And obviously the king is God, the son is Jesus, and those that had been invited, I think, directed towards the chief priests and the Pharisees. They are not paying attention. They've gone off. It says one to his farm, another to his business, while others seize the servants, treat them shamelessly, and kill them. I think that's in reference to some prophets and John the Baptist. And the king becomes angry and opens up this wedding feast to everybody. In reference to the kingdom is opened up to everyone. And so they go invite people, and the wedding hall is filled with guests. And it says both good and bad in verse 10, which should certainly have caused the Pharisees to really wonder, and should cause us a little bit to wonder, what's this good and bad? How's that make sense, especially in light of the bearing fruit aspect that we just read about in the previous chapter. And we see that resolved by the end when the king comes and looks at the guests and sees that there's somebody there that doesn't have on the wedding garment. So it appears that the people that attend are given some special garment to wear. This person doesn't have the wedding garment. Some stuff I read said it appears that this person is trusting solely on their own self. They're not accepting this garment, and the person is sent out. So, it is clear at this feast all are welcome, but those that come need to have on this garment. And we aren't sure if this is reference to a faith in Christ or the bearing of the good works that is evidence of your faith in Christ, or necessarily what this is. But it is clear all are welcome, but not all will get to come. And that is really really rebuking the Pharisees on that they may be part of those that might not get to come because of the bearing fruit and the faith in recognizing the Son. And then the rest of the chapter is the Pharisees and then the Sadducees posing questions to Jesus, trying to trick him. And in front of the Herodians, which would have been the Romans under Herod, or those at least who were following Herod, talk about paying taxes. And Jesus answers, to render to Caesar things that are Caesar's, and God things that are God. And the Sadducees ask about questions with the resurrection. And Pharisees come back with what is the greatest commandment. They had many, many laws. And they're trying to trick Jesus as to if he answers one is the most, that means the others aren't as important. And Jesus answers again expertly, and then Jesus asks them a question about who do they think about the Christ, whose son is he? And they answer that it is the Christ is the son of David. And Jesus says, how is that possible? David calls him Lord. So how would David call his son Lord, that doesn't make any sense logically. So again, stumps the Pharisees, and it says because of this, they stopped asking questions. So just an interesting chapter as we see the progression towards Jesus' death coming up in next week in the end of Matthew, and we see this conflict brewing with the Sadducees and Pharisees, and Jesus saying, hey, this feast, this future kingdom feast was for you guys, and you refused, and now it's open up to everybody, but everybody that comes, all are welcome. Everyone that comes, not everyone is going to get to stay. So just, some interesting teaching, some hard teaching, and obviously I've not covered everything. Each section, there are sermons and sermons on each section of this chapter, and truly all chapters of Matthew. So I hope you have a good day, have a good weekend. If you don't have a church home, I would love for you to opt to come visit Salem. I'm going to be out of town this weekend. Tim Chernogle will be here sharing his word, a message entitled The Mother's Heart of God, and the God's nurturing and loving heart. So let me know if you have any questions. Have a great weekend, and I pray you'll have a place to worship on Sunday. Take care.